Hey, and welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man. This time I'm playing a blue-red Faeries deck. I believe our opponent's Jund here. We won the roll, so we're going to play first. See if we can get our hand up. We're on the top here, due to the replays being broken. This is a reasonable hand. We've got Snapcaster, we've got Spellstutter Sprite, Magma Jet, we've got Mutavault, and 2 islands and a mountain, which is pretty reasonable. So you off with our island, so you go. There's Sulfur Falls there, which I'm going to play out. It's good as access to both our colours. Could have played out with the Mutavault, I suppose, but I think it's going to make a lot of difference. Glen plays out with I think I'm just going to Magma Jet that. Lets me look at the top 2 cards in my hand. On my library, sorry. I think I skipped past it a little bit too quick. It looks like we kept the Mana Leak on top, and might have ditched the land probably. We're pretty good on lands at the moment. Don't really want to see too many more lands out of our deck. I'm trying to play another mare, so we're going to Mana Leak that. Pass the turn. Actually, we could have activated Mutavault there and then played out the Spellstutter Sprite. That would have been a better play actually. There's a lot of little tricks you can do with Mutavault, because it has the sort of changeling ability, and it becomes a fairy when you activate it. You can use that with Spellstutter Sprite, add an extra fairy to the board, which is a good trick to have. And plays out a Deathrite. Tries to play Domri here. I'm going to Snapcaster, and then go for the Mana Leak. Unfortunately, my opponent used to get rid of the leak from my yard, so it doesn't quite work out how I wanted it to. Probably we might. I don't know if we would be better off just killing off the Deathrite this turn instead, or doing something else. But didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. And plus, it's one's Domri, but doesn't hit anything. I activate my Mutavault and attack with my Snapcaster to kill off Domri. I'm going to Electrolyze Deathrite on my turn, so he doesn't get an additional activation out of it. It does leave me tapped out, but I think we're okay with that. Opponent seems a little light on options. Use a Dreadbore to get rid of my Snapcaster, which is fine. On Mutavault, but we're going to use the Spellstutter Sprite to protect it, countering the Lightning Bolt. I'm getting for 2 here. I'm going to pass the turn. Opponent's not got a whole lot going on. Just drop a Treetop Village. I'm going to be able to activate my Conclave and my Mutavault here, so we're going to be able to get in for 5 here. We've got a couple of burn spells in our hand. Sadly, nothing that can deal with the Treetop. You can fly over with the Conclave and the Sprite, so it's not a big deal. Use my Pillar of Flame on this Confidant, I believe. Seems like a good idea. Don't want him drawing extra cards. 3 here. No point running a Mutavault into the Treetop Village, I don't think. So draw another Spellstutter here. Gonna activate the Conclave and attack. Probably going to be able to counter whatever spell he plays. He's only going to be able to kill the Spellstutter Sprite anyway, seems as though Abrupt Decay can't target lands, so Conclave is safe, and we're going to be able to get in for 2 here. As I was saying, we can probably counter anything that's costs less than. Actually, any 2 casting costs or lower card we can counter. Can't remember what I was doing here. I think that was an accidental activation of the Conclave. I'm not sure what I intended to do there. No, can't remember. I think that was just an accident. Get back to playing again. So draw an Archmage here, which is fine. First, pass the turn over to my opponent. Since I've got Spellstutter Sprite up, I particularly need the Archmage at the moment. and yeah, opponent goes down to 1 and then concedes from there. So that was game 1. We want to move on to game 2 if we can. So here's our opener here. We've got Grim Lavamancer, Scion of Oona, 2 Spell Snares, 3 lands. Not the most exciting of hands, but it's fairly decent. Opponent leads with a bop. I'll just lead with an island. Maybe we should have led with the mountain and just played out the Grim Lavamancer. Might have been the better play, seems though we could have eventually built up to killing a bop. I suppose the real problem is that we actually don't have any way to put any cards into our graveyard at the moment, so first turn Grim Lavamancer isn't going to do a whole lot, especially when he drops out a Deathrite, as it turns out. I'm going to play my Grim Lavamancer now though, since I've got Spell Snare up. Unfortunately it's going to get hit with a bolt. There's not a whole lot we can do. So just going to be looking to pass here. Opponent makes us lose 2 life, exiling our Lightning Bolt. And plays out another bop. Not entirely sure why my opponent's playing bops. Doesn't look like the most well put together list, and seems to be running bops when his curve seems to end at like 3/3. So not entirely sure what the bops are for, unless there is some higher end to his deck that I never saw. So we're going to drop out Scion of Oona here, getting hit with the Abrupt Decay, rather annoyingly. To draw a Mutavault there, which is nice. So trying to get to use one of our Spell Snares as he tries to play Mayor of Avabruck. We draw another Mutavault, which is nice. We start attacking with our Mutavaults now, as we're kind of in a bit of a race against his Deathrite Shaman, which is somewhat annoying. He's just fortunately not playing out anything else particularly relevant. Got a lot of bops here. Which are going to be able to chump our Mutavaults, but it's not a massive deal. What we really want to do is Deathrite Shaman, seems though that's actually causing all the trouble. And obviously hoping he doesn't draw anything too exciting in the meantime. So he plays the Lightning Bolt. I just had to leak it, forgetting that he has 2 active bops, so that was not a good idea, to be honest. It just added another spell to the graveyard, so it was kind of a waste of Mana Leak. Not that the Mana Leak is particularly relevant at this moment in time, but there's no real reason to chuck it away, so mistake, but probably didn't change too much. Just passes the turn again. Get my Grim Lavamancer, another Grim Lavamancer, which is nice. We're actually going to be able to use it to kill off that Shaman, hopefully, next turn. And it's not a moment too soon, really. It seems though we're on 3 life. Opponent tries to play Dreadbore on Grim Lavamancer. Fortunately, I have the Spell Snare. He also tries to play Confidant, which I also going to Spell Snare. Going to kill off the Deathrite here. He's going to use it to gain some life. I assume he's looking to top deck a Bolt or something, and he's just trying to buy some additional time, because he could have dropped me down to 1 there, but I suppose it didn't make a massive difference to him, so maybe he wanted to boost his life total and hope to draw a Bolt. Second before with the Mutavaults, put it down to 5. Play the Nighthawk, which is somewhat annoying. Activate my Mutavault attack, trying to tempt him into the block, and then we can kill off that Nighthawk. In the end he just chumps with a bop, so I'm going to drop out my Archmage and a Scalding Tarn. This way I can actually counter a Bolt or something if that's what happens. So he attacks for 2, I'm going to block with the Archmage. He is going to gain 2 life, but I can now I can crack the Tarn and then use Nighthawk. Do go down to 2 though, but I think that's a risk we're going to have to take. We could have countered the Domri as well, as it turns out. I didn't, and maybe I probably should have done, but I don't think it's going to make a massive amount of difference. The fight ability is not particularly relevant. Obviously I don't want him to draw a creature, but I think it ends up mattering here. but I probably should have countered it, I think. So we're going to take him down to 2 here, and yeah, that ends up winning us the game and the match, I believe. Yeah, unfortunately we couldn't activate the Grim Lavamancer on that turn because we had no creatures, no cards in the graveyard, but we would have won next turn, seems though whatever he drew was not enough to stop us from winning next turn. So that was the game and the match.